Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fortress Comic News, episode 324. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my returning co-host, Mike. What's up, Mike?
I'm back, man. A lot of things are up, a lot of things are down, and a lot of things are around. I will say this that I did have a lot of fun while I was away, and I was away for like a wedding thing with some friends. And I know there's comic book shit in an interview with Jason uh, McNamara, I believe, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But I went to a place called Carowinds, and some friends who were listening were there with me. So, but I'm not huge on roller coasters, Chris.
Yep.
I went on a few and I enjoyed it. Like, this was fun. We went on a wooden one, which I went on a wooden one in the past, and they hurt, like, because there's no like give to them. And this one hurt, so I was like, yeah, it's definitely the same thing that I remember. And when we were like rolling in, we saw that the support beams were like pointing out all the nails that were like poking out and missing from a lot of because they're like 4x4, like almost like railroad track beams.
Yep.
Or bigger than 4x4, sorry. But as we were like stopped there for them to get us off the ride, then we look at another one and we're like, wow, look at those nails, those are all sticking out. And we're like, no, that's because the board is completely like pulled off of the track. So like, a week or so, it's been a week, I think. And one of the rides that we had a lot of fun on, I think some people went on a couple times. It just hit the news today. And this is Carowinds. You can look it up. I forget the name of the ride. It's 305 or something because it has like a 305-foot drop straight down. They're being reported because one of the support beams, there's a crack in it. So they've been reported, and it's a huge violation, and people could have died. It's been that way since I went on the ride, since thousands of people have been on that ride for the last week. So and it was funny because we had some friends in the group that like don't do roller coasters, so they were just hanging out while we would hit up the roller coasters. But with good riddance, or good, I don't know, whatever, foresight, because yeah, these places are death traps. And I kind of like confirmed that I really don't need to hit up roller coasters anytime soon for the rest of my life because I could have been a casualty to one.
I don't mind roller coasters, but like I don't seek them out. Like if somebody
Right,
invites me,
yeah,
like if
yeah.
you called me up and like, let's go to Darien Lake, I'd be like,
Yeah,
okay.
like, okay, we'll do it. And that's kind of
Yeah.
like the situation I was in because the friends with the party love them, and I was like, okay, so I was like, like, all pumped up by association, like they're all pumped up, so I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But I will say the failure of the day, Carowinds, if you're listening, which you're not, because you're probably dealing with a lawsuit, they don't have corn dogs. Now,
what kind of theme park is this?
exactly. And it was the joke of the day because like I was literally like, we got there, I'm like, I'm just here for the corn dog. Like, for real, I just want a corn dog, I want to walk around a corn dog. And we get to the part of the park, and there's this giant corn dog mascot like pointing like corn dogs this way, and I'm like, and everybody was laughing at me all day. I'm like, this is a thing. Like, corn dogs at theme parks is a thing.
Yeah.
And we get there, they're closed. They just aren't open anymore, but they still have the sign. And I was like, is this some type of sick joke? Like, and then like from then on for the rest of the day, like all my food endeavors were just downhill. I tried to grab something else, it wasn't available. It was just but like it all started with the corn dog. So
Awful.
yeah. Anyways, here we are. I'm back. Chris has got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of cool stuff. He's got a new game he showed me earlier today.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, so I live by Rochester, New York, as a lot of people know, but Millennium Games.
Hit me up. I'll give you his address.
Yeah. Millennium Games opened up a new store, and it's now like they claim it's the biggest board game store in the country. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what they say.
I saw pictures. It looks big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Like, especially for a board game store.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of fun there. I was back and forth. Have you ever played Zombicide?
It's a video game too, right?
I think they've made video game versions of it.
I've seen
There's also
it.
a comic book.
I've never played it, but I've seen it.
So it's a fun board game, but they made
Yeah.
a Marvel Zombies version of it.
Oh,
So I was
amazing.
between that and the one I ended up buying,
Yeah.
which was the Shovel Knight board game. And that's because I was just like, I love fucking Shovel Knight.
Just the design of that game has got to be sick.
But yeah, I took me and a friend went in there and spent like a couple hours hanging out, looking at stuff. He's really into Magic, so he bought a bunch of Magic cards and
of course
had a good time. So yeah, that was cool. I also got a new dice set that I got to show you later because it's funny.
Awesome. Is it Dick's?
No, I wish it was. It'd be so much better if it was.
So much I know what to get you for Christmas now. Nice. I know you though. You're like, it's a dice set. I'm really excited about it. Is it Dick's? No, it's not Dick's.
No, but you're close. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
And then I was grocery shopping the other day, and new friend of the show, recent guest Travis Mercer, did this book for McFarlane Toys' new line of comic punchers, which are action figures that come with a comic.
Yeah,
and the comic's actually an original comic. It's not like, because they do these a lot of times where it's like you get Flash and then Flashpoints in the back.
It's like or like a reprint of like New 52 or something.
This is a whole new one where it's Batman fighting the Frozen.
Oh,
and
man.
It's Caveman Batman.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
So I got that, and then the villain's Mr. Freeze, so I got the Mr. Freeze. And it's
Look
like
at that, Mr.
steampunk Mr. Freeze from like the 1800s.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. And what's cool too is each character you buy has a different cover as well.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
I gotta go find those. Where did you find them?
I just found them at Walmart.
Oh, sick.
But I seen them on Amazon. I'm sure they're like Target or wherever else you want to shop.
That's such a cool idea with the original comic.
Yeah, and that's apparently a thing McFarlane Toys want to do. And we talked about it on the show. Travis did the whole story for it and everything, and was really proud of it. And they have like 4 or 5 of them coming out over the next year plus. So
that's true.
It'd be cool to check those out.
It's funny because like there's a dude that I at work that I geek out over. Like he's a toy guy. So he just has like thousands of Star Wars and like DC Comics toys, and he'll always send me pictures when he's buying them. And honestly, it kind of like helps me not to have to buy them because I'm like living through him. But he like sends me these Batman figures and stuff, and I'm like, oh shit, that's from this. Like he doesn't read the comics, but I'm like surprised about how many figures they made from almost like every comic book run that we've read now. I'm like, holy shit, they made that Batman, they made that Joker. Like, yeah, McFarlane's doing some cool stuff.
Did I go through because our Walmart has a pretty big toy aisle.
That's cool.
It's like 5 toy aisles actually. And one is all like, I mean, it's all kid stuff, but one's like the adult nerdy section. So it's like Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and then like He-Man and
oh hell yeah, I love the He-Man figures.
And I would just go through and look around at stuff, see what they got. And the McFarlane toys are by far the best. Like,
they have.
It used to be the Marvel Legends toys, but now McFarlane's just killing it with those DC toys.
And they have like McFarlane does like the gold label line, right, or something. And those
they do a whole bunch of different lines. Yeah, dude. They're actually they did one for the Flash movie, and it's the Flash, obviously.
Yeah, right.
And it's kind of an oversized one, and it is so nice.
Yeah,
unfortunately, it's for a really shitty Flash, but the figure is really nice.
Talking about the Flash one though, I was gonna say the McFarlane one that came out was of Keaton Batman, and that one was sick. There was one without the cowl and with the cowl, and it looked like Keaton. Like sometimes you get those figures, and you're like, "Who the hell is that guy?"
Rewind because I mentioned He-Man.
Yeah.
Did you know there's a He-Man board game too?
No, I did not know this,
dude. It's like all 3D figures and everything.
I'm buying it.
There's so many expansions for it. Like one of the expansions you can buy. So the board it's like a normal board, and then you have the figures on it.
Okay.
And you can buy like 3D tiles and everything to like make it bigger and all that, and like make it more realistic.
Yeah.
You can buy just a Castle Grayskull to put on the board.
Oh my god.
And everything. Like,
oh my god,
dude, I was looking at it. It would have cost like probably close to $700 to get the whole
thing,
expansions and the little things and everything else.
I love He-Man, and I've never like read all the comics or watched all of the shows, but I do love the figures. Like those figures are just so awesome. I'm just a huge Man-at-Arms nerd.
And I can confirm that one of the expansion packs for that board game includes Fisto.
Oh yes,
because of course that's what I was looking for the whole time.
There are no more enemies to fist. Fisto has fisted them all. He's real. Look him up, folks. All right, you got to talk to me about Secret Invasion because that came out. I haven't watched it yet. And I forgot there's 2 episodes. Samuel L. Jackson being a badass.
Yeah, when you're all listening to this, episode 3's out, but I love it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my thing. It's a spy thriller
Yep.
with Nick Fury, where aliens are trying to take over Earth. Like,
perfect. Yeah.
what else do I need?
Yeah.
But I think it's really well done. The first episode ends on a really like somber moment that I felt was super impactful and like involved a character I love.
Mm-hmm.
The villain, the guy who plays the villain, is amazing.
Who is
He's
the villain?
so fucking good. I forget the dude's name now, but I mean, we're fighting scrolls here. It's one of the scrolls.
Oh yeah. Is he the guy from Suicide Squad or not Peacemaker? Right, he's the alien dude from Peacemaker. I thought no. Oh no, he was in the new. Never mind. I'm getting stuff mixed up with Marvel.
It's Gravik is the character. The actor is Kingsley Ben Adir. Who I know, yeah, he's playing he's playing Bob Marley in a movie here soon.
Oh, okay.
And he was in something else we know really well.
That's interesting.
Vamping. So he was in that King Arthur movie.
Okay.
He was in World War Z as well.
Nice.
So yeah. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but he's an amazing actor, man. Like, he's
that's cool.
Such a good villain and everything. Really enjoy it. A lot of good action, spy stuff. It has like the feel of Winter Soldier without any super heroics. They tease something really big, Fantastic Four adjacent in it that makes me like super excited.
Okay.
I'm all about
right.
it. I think the show is really good.
Yeah.
It's just hitting all the right buttons for me.
Samuel L. Jackson too, man. I could watch that guy do anything.
Dude, and there's moments because like, you know, scrolls can turn to anything.
Right.
So there's moments where like Sam Jackson has to play a scroll in it.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
It just reminds you that like Sam Jackson's a really good fucking actor.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah. Yeah, that dude can act. That's awesome.
So,
I
highly recommend the show. I don't think you need to know a whole bunch. Maybe at most you would need to watch Captain Marvel, but even then they kind of recap everything that happened.
Okay.
So
cool.
it's very standalone too, which is nice.
This is a little surprising. So San Diego Comic-Con is coming up. It's going to be a little later this year. Due to the writer's strike. It was announced that all the major players in the movie and TV space are skipping the event, including Marvel Studios, Warner Brothers, and more. I mean, we almost know why. I mean, so like, this is also like a good scapegoat for them too, right? Of like, oh, we don't have to put a slate out of of movies or trailers or tease anything because we could just like not show up. I don't know.
I think for DC Studios, this is a good thing.
Yeah,
it is an excuse.
DC's like, whew.
Yeah, because like at most they would have like brought out these new actors for Superman, which we'll talk about in a minute. But other than that, like what else do they have other than be like Blue Beetle's coming out, everybody, and that's probably gonna flop too,
right? Well,
and Marvel, just everything's pushed back, so it'd be tough. Like they could talk about Loki probably and a few other things already done and coming out, but yeah, it's unfortunate, but at the same time I almost think it's a good thing to kind of give us a rest for a year and then move on. But I feel bad for the people that bought tickets for this.
Well, honestly, I've been more excited about San Diego over the years because we've been getting crazy. Like Vault Comics has been showing up with a big crowd. Scout Comics, like those publishers have been like putting a lot forward for this Comic-Con.
I'm convinced that Marvel is going to come out big this year. Like I especially for me, like 100%, I feel like a new ROM series is getting announced there.
Yeah, right.
That's my gut. I know of a DC announcement that people are going to be excited about, and just knowing the other publishers too. What's going to be nice about it is, when we do our San Diego Comic-Con episode,
it's going to be comics.
Yeah,
it's going to be like that's what I was going to bring it back to. Is like, we could be upset the movie studios aren't there, but like Comic-Con is going to be about comics.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be exciting for us, but like normies are going to be like, oh, fucking comics. But
Well,
what?
you
Fuck
know,
them.
when I wasn't reading comics as much, I would always be like, "Oh yeah, New York Comic Con's happening." You get some TV show announcements, and then like San Diego would happen, you get movie announcements. But like New York is still all about comics, and they're still doing really well. So San Diego could do it too. Yeah, okay. So we'll talk about the elephant in the room, the Superman legacy casting announcement, and that there's some funny shit surrounding this because James Gunn will just answer all these idiots on Twitter.
He's got
So
nothing else to do.
to save everybody some views on Twitter, I know you don't want to use up your views. I'll tell you what happened. After many auditions and even more rumors, we know who the leads for James Gunn's Superman Legacy movie will be. Playing Kal-El, Clark Kent. Wow, this is the same person? Is David Corenswet. Mostly unknown actor, and playing Lois Lane is Rachel Brosnahan, who is probably best known for starring in Amazon's Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and I've heard that's really good. Now, the funny part about this is if you look up David Corenswet, he looks very strikingly similar to young Henry Cavill. And people were tweeting at James Gunn like, "What, did you notice this? Like, oh my God, like, did you do this on purpose?" And he was like, "Yeah, well, he's a good actor, and the fact that he looks like a young Henry Cavill, yeah, like that he looks like the last person that played Superman. Wow, shocking! What a fucking surprise! Like, really? Come on." I mean, they look like Lois Lane and Clark Kent to me. That's all I'll say.
And Warner's done this before. I mean, when they did Superman Returns, they got a guy who looked like Reeves. So,
oh my God, I know. Brandon Routh looks just like Reeves. Oh my God, spinning image. Yeah,
I think it's coincidence because everybody's like, "Oh, they're gonna cast Cavill as John Kent." I'm like, probably not, guys.
Or they could cast Cavill if he looks older as Kingdom Come Superman.
I mean, yeah, that down the line, I could see Cavill coming back and being like an alternate reality Superman or something, but
with overalls on, please God, let him be wearing overalls.
But yeah, I think it's cool. It's an unknown because I have no preconceived notion of him. Like,
this is what we said we wanted, right? This is what we wanted. So
this is what Marvel did so well on their lesser known heroes back in the day. Like, yes, their core heroes. Iron Man, Captain America, so on. Like, we got known quantities.
Well, they did it with Spider-Man too. What's his name? Was like, more of a Broadway actor, right?
Yeah, Spider-Man and Holland came out, and nobody knew who the fuck that guy was, and now he's one of the biggest actors in the world.
Yeah.
So, I think if it's done correctly, it can work really well, and I hope that's the case here. And I've heard Marvelous Miss Maisel is really good, and I've heard the actress Rachel is phenomenal in it. So.
Awesome.
It seems like a similar kind of role because she's playing a stand-up comedian who's like bucking the system and kind of a 70s-ish like feminist
that's
role.
Cool. Yeah, so that's Lois Lane right there.
Yeah, so it works.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited for this, and I'm glad to have like actual news and not have to read the 20th article about how this person's going to be Superman.
Yeah, they were talking about all those really famous people that I can't think of their names right now. But
and then Gunn coming out and being like, "Nope, that's not what we're doing."
Not what we're doing. And it wasn't Nicolas Cage, so sorry everyone who was voting for that. But you and me both are really upset.
If it was, I would have bought 5 tickets.
Yes. Kraven the Hunter first trailer. Listen, man. I don't know much about Kraven the Hunter. You all know that I love DC over Marvel, but does he really get bit by a mutant lion or
is radioactive lion?
Radioactive lion. I think in the trailer he's supposed to have like some super soldier serum in his backpack, and the lion like bites him through the back, and somehow it contaminates his blood. What the hell was going on in that trailer?
I'm not a Spider-Man guy, but to my knowledge, Kraven does have powers.
Yeah.
But it's through some ritual involving lion's blood.
Right. Which that sounds way more metal than whatever the hell we just got in that trailer.
Yeah, and I don't really understand what the fuck happened in that trailer.
Dude, and can I say something that like oh my God, I can't think of his name, but the dude who plays his dad, Gladiator, Russell Crowe, has a really
fighting around the world.
Yeah. He has a really heavy Russian accent, right? Which I think that'd be really cool for Kraven the Hunter. But then his son, who is played, Kick-Ass, plays him also Quicksilver, doesn't have an accent. He's just like straight up voice, not like even like, oh, I'm Craven the Hunter. It's just like, nah, I'm Craven the Hunter. And it's like, what? You're called Craven the Hunter and you don't have like an imposing, like terrifying voice? A little strange.
These Sony movies have the lowest of low expectations, so
Oh
I
my
do not
God.
expect much. But that looked like a disaster when I was watching it. I'm like,
And then there is that scene where he's in the woods and there's like spiders coming down. And like, well, we can't have Spider-Man, but we have the next best thing, spiders. I'm like, are you kidding me? What is happening?
Sony, just give it back to Marvel so they can do the right thing.
Marvel could have made an awesome Kraven the Hunter movie, but here we are.
Marvel would have had the first Kraven appearance as a villain instead of a standalone movie, because we don't need standalone movies for villains.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then 10 years later, I would have gotten Kraven's Last Hunt, pretty much the only Kraven story I've really read.
Yeah.
But from what I'm told, the best one.
Right.
And instead I get this. I don't know.
Whatever this is.
Maybe Spider fans are more excited about this than I am, but I don't.
I watched the trailer, and like you said, I have no idea what's happening in the trailer. I think he's fighting gang members or something. I don't. First, he gets bit by a lion, then he fights gang members. I don't know how those two things happen, but here we are.
Yeah, it's.
And Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is just taking paychecks for anything nowadays, I think.
Oh, yeah.
His last few movies have been like in the hot garbage of like Rotten Tomato scores.
Oh, dude, he's got mortgage payments to make.
What was the one? The Priest Exorcist? God, I did not even go see that. What is like, dude, what are you doing, man? What is Russell Crowe doing in a horror movie? Anyways, let's talk about this, because I was pleasantly surprised when you texted me about this. I'm actually, because I have all next week off to work on home stuff. I think we're gonna take a day and go like in the middle of the day to a matinee to see this. Chris saw Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny, and I was surprised that he liked it, and now I'm gonna like it. So let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I really liked it. It's a fun Indiana Jones movie, and it doesn't have all the baggage of having to deal with Shia LaBeouf.
We dropped the baggage off back in 1984.
It's not perfect, but it's just fun, and like all the characters you want to show up. It's the final story. It's the goodbye story.
Is Short Round in it?
No.
Oh my god!
But everybody else is. And
you said the characters I wanted to show up.
Nobody wanted Short Round to show up except for you.
Yeah, that's true. Nobody.
Let me just be honest with everybody.
Nobody likes Short Round.
I'm happy for that guy for winning his award for that movie and everything. Nobody cared about Short Round before he won that award. Yeah. I'm just being honest with everybody.
Yeah.
But okay.
You're just telling it like it is. Short Round was not the best part of the Indiana Jones movies.
I don't hate Short Round, but I'm just like, he was there. Okay.
Yeah, right.
They get a new Short Round in this movie. Legitimately, they do.
Wow.
Yeah, they
Is he Short Rounder?
Short Round is a black kid.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, he like one of his friends' like daughter, so his goddaughter, who the friend you meet in the beginning of the movie, and they do like the de-aging thing, which worked really well. So you get like an old like 1940s Indiana Jones fighting Nazis story for the first part of the movie, and then that person's daughter is like his sidekick in this, and she has a kid sidekick, and it's some black. I don't remember the kid's name. It's some black kid, so it's kind of funny to think that way, but. Everybody in it's fantastic. The kid's really cool. She's phenomenal. Harrison Ford's actually like really likable in this,
awesome.
Even though he plays a cranky old man.
Dude, that's how he was. I watched Shrinking, I told you, and he's like getting better at acting in his 70s now.
Yeah. The action sequences are really fun. I thought I liked the story. The ending's a little wonky, but whatever. You get past it. It's Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Okay, you don't have to spoil anything, but like what I've heard is that this movie is like the goddaughter will be taking up the mantle or they rewrite history. Did they rewrite history where she was Indiana Jones the whole time? Or
No,
something?
no, no, no,
Okay,
no,
that's
no,
what
no,
those
no.
were the rumors that I heard. Okay,
They could have her be the new Indiana Jones, like
yeah,
do another movie with her.
uh-huh,
I don't know if they're going to,
yeah.
but it definitely like did you play Uncharted 4?
No, but I know Uncharted.
Well, okay, so spoilers for Uncharted 4. The end of that game, like his daughter is in the epilogue, and it
Okay,
basically sets up the series to be like his daughter will take over the mantle.
mm-hmm.
So whenever we get a new Uncharted game, it's going to be the daughter. This is similar, but it's not as like obvious and blunt. It's one of those things where it's like they could do that,
Right.
but it's not necessarily 100% that's what they're going to do. I would be
Okay,
shocked they just retire Indiana Jones after this. I thought it was a great send off.
nice.
And I will spoil one thing for everybody because I think it'll drive people to the movie theaters. They kill Shia LaBeouf off screen.
Really?
They literally just say, "My son's dead." Moving on.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's no, it's a little bit more of a touching scene than that, but it was pretty funny to me that I'm just like, oh, we just killed that character off screen.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal because fuck that character.
Yeah, who
But
cares?
yeah,
Who cares? He's gone. Nobody cares. I don't.
yeah. Is it the best Indiana Jones? No, but it's way better than Crystal Skull, and I think it's a fun time. Like I
Crystal
think people
Skull is
will
like
enjoy it.
okay until that fucking until that spaceship starts spinning around. Then you're like, what is happening?
There's a similar thing here
Yeah.
because, like I said, the ending little weird, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It works enough that
Mm-hmm.
like it didn't like ruin the movie for me. Obviously, Crystal Skull's okay, but then like Shia LaBeouf ruins it for me,
Yeah.
and then we add in aliens. Yeah. Oh, and Mickelson. What's his first name?
Which one?
Mickelson, the guy who was in Batman.
That plays Alfred.
No, no, no. That plays.
Which character? You got to give me a Batman character.
I'm just gonna look it up.
Oh, you mean the
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen? He's the villain. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
he plays a Nazi in this,
Dude,
and he
he's
plays a
such a good villain.
phenomenal Nazi.
Any movie that guy's in, he's gonna be the best character.
He's
Yeah.
so good. He wasn't Batman, right? I'm not like imagining that.
Nicholson? No. I'm trying. He was in Casino Royale.
He's in Rogue One. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was in Rogue One. He plays the villain. He plays the villain in a lot of stuff. He was also in Death Stranding, the video game.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
He was in the Harry Potter movie, apparently.
Yeah, he was in the newest.
Why did I think he was in Batman with
He plays Grindelwald. He plays the best Grindelwald, I think, out of in the Harry Potter universe, the Wizarding World universe.
Yeah, but he's phenomenal in it too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think if you're even slightly an Indiana Jones fan, I think it's worth your time.
Nice. I'm in. Let's go. Got some comic book news now, folks.
Yep. Everybody
Ready for some comic news?
Right, drink some fucking caffeine because it's gonna get real boring.
Yeah.
I mean, comics.
I did read a lot of comics this week too, so we'll talk about that in a bit. Marvel revealed a new Werewolf by Night one-shot coming this fall from writer Derek Landry, artist Fran Landy. This oversized one-shot will be a black and white comic that reunites Werewolf by Night with Elsa Bloodstone. Chris, I know you've been waiting for that reunion.
I do like Elsa Bloodstone, I'll say that. But
oh, really? I have no idea who that character is.
You would like Elsa. It's she's a monster hunter.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, was she like a Van Helsing? Okay.
Yeah, basically.
That's
like
cool.
Female Van Helsing, but she has like powers that involve. Yeah, I can't get it up for Werewolf by Night. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they really.
You got me for the one shot, Marvel Studios. Yeah, that was fun. You gave me Man Thing. I can't do comics on that.
Yeah. Marvel announced this week that Yelena Belova is back and getting her own limited series titled White Widow. This series will come from writer Sarah Gailey and artist Alessandro Miracolo. In White Widow, Yelena will have to learn how to become her own hero in the shadow of her past and her sister, the Black Widow. So, I don't believe the Black Widow book was very strong when it was coming out because it ended, right? I mean, it wasn't.
Black Widow has its audience, and
Yeah,
definitely enough to like hold a book, just not for very long.
yeah, and maybe I can't imagine like. Did they announce that it's a limited series? Okay, well at least that's good.
Yeah, I mean, she's gonna be in Thunderbolts, the movie, so I guess the only thing that would, the only thing that like remotely gets me wanting to read this is the idea that maybe I could have Florence Pugs. I don't know how to
Pew,
say her last name.
I think
Pugh.
it's Pew. Yeah,
Yeah, to have her voice in my head because something about that voice in that movie just does something for me, Mike. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
think you and many others. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, I honestly she's a
but
great actress, and I
oh,
thought she
she's a
did a great.
phenomenal
Yeah,
actress.
she's amazing. Yeah,
But she's also just fucking gorgeous and has
yeah.
like that
Oh
Russian
yeah,
voice that she does in that movie. I
yeah.
don't know,
I
man.
know she's great, and she's British in real life too. So
Yeah, I because I remember she was one of those ones that was like set off to be like a really big time actress, and do like these
mhm.
really important roles and everything. And then Marvel's just like, here's money.
Yeah,
So all the
right.
like movie snobs are pissed because now she's gonna be in Marvel movies forever.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
look at
well,
it.
fuck you, we got her.
Yeah, look it over it.
But the comic didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have another Spider-Man comic coming from Marvel this fall. Well, sort of. From writer Dan Slott and artist Reiko Medina comes a new ongoing series spinning out of Dan Slott's Spider-Man series titled Spider-Boy. Oh, the that's right. The newly featured Spider-Boy is getting his own series after issues featuring him continually sold out many different print runs. Here we go. Spider-Boy's back by popular demand.
Yeah. So I think this is DOA because even Dan Slott said this was not a part of the plan.
Yeah.
That Marvel came to him and said, "Hey, those Spider Boy issues keep selling out. We should do a Spider Boy book."
Mm-hmm.
And that to me just screams like,
Yeah.
if the creator just had like a story to tell, because it has something to do with Spider Verse shit. Because that's
Right.
all Dan Slott knows how to write anymore.
Yeah.
Um, and if the writer didn't have a plan for this outside of that story,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody loved it so much that now we got to do its own thing, I just, it screams not going to be good to me. But
Yeah.
I'm also not a Spider-Man guy. I read Spider-Man here and there. To get into an extended Spider-Man universe in comics is like not something that's going to catch my drift. But
And also, like, you're the reason it sold out is because of the limited print and stuff like that. So, like, when the FOMO is real, with people are buying up these books, but you're not going to have that when you announce an ongoing where he's like going to be printing a lot of books for it.
I'll say this: they said it went into multiple reprints,
Uh huh.
and they all sold out. So
Okay.
it's not just a one print run thing.
Yeah.
And then the second one just died. Like they went into like 5 or 6 prints.
Wow.
So maybe people really do love them and this is going to be really good and everybody's going to enjoy it. I hope that's the case, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It screams cash grab to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand how business is. So
Right.
cash grab could still be good, but this one just screams it to me because even the creators basically said, like, yeah, it's cash grab.
Yeah, we'll see. Spider Boy it's a weird title. Mad Cave has announced a new series coming this fall titled The Devil That Wears My Face. Wow, that's pretty metal. The series will be written by David Papose and art from Alex Cormack. Okay, all right, two people we know. The Devil That Wears My Face is said to be an exorcism comic story set in the year 1740 when Father Franco Vieri is sent to help a Spanish nobleman exorcise a demon known as Legion. Things go horribly wrong, and he finds himself trapped in the stranger's body. Yeah, evil exorcism book, David Papose writing. Yeah, coming from Mad Cave. All these things check out, and I'll probably be checking it out.
I will definitely pick this one up. Yeah, I love Papose's writing.
Mm-hmm.
The premise sounds awesome.
Yeah, sounds really cool.
And I love Cormac's art's phenomenal, and I think
Mm-hmm.
it fits the kind of book it is. Yeah, I'm all in on this one.
Yeah,
Good on Mad Cave. We don't talk about them a lot, but they have a
right.
bunch of really interesting sounding books. I mean,
And
Nottingham was one of their books. If you remember
yeah, and they're
Nottingham,
still doing spin-offs, and I haven't been caught up on Nottingham, but I did really enjoy the first run, so I need to go back and read all that stuff.
yeah, I'm trying to get. I want to get the trade, but I have so much stuff I got to read that I've been holding off on it. But
I hear that.
yeah, but yeah, this
Uh,
book sounds awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. All right, let's talk about what we read, Chris. I read some comics. I don't know about you.
I got 2 weeks for you, Mike.
Yes.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Comic books. There's some stuff I need to catch up on, but what I will talk about is all right. This is a book that I was pretty excited for, and I read the book and I was like, what happened? Godzilla, Here There Be Dragons, #1. And it's not a typo. That's just how pirates speak. So that's Frank Thierry and Naka Miranda. Art is fantastic. And I'll start off the premise saying pirates and Godzilla. Uh, but we get some cool like drawings. So it was like this pirate's being captured um, by the Royal Guard. You know, kind of like the beginning of Pirates of the Caribbean, and they're questioning him. He talks about this gold that's hidden away, and he talks about Godzilla being the protector of the gold, whatever. But like Godzilla doesn't show up to the last page of the issue, and then it's like, see Godzilla in next issue, and I'm just like, this is a Godzilla book because here there not be dragons. It literally was a pirate book for like 20 pages, and then Godzilla pops up at the end. I will say there are like two Godzilla things. The one was like this map of like the world, you know, for the oceans and shit, and spread throughout the map there was all the little like kaiju that you know like marked on the map. So like, oh look, there's Ghidorah and there's like Mothra. Oh, that's cool, but we don't see any monsters at all in the book. So
See a big footprint, Mike.
yeah, there's a
What do you
footprint.
want?
Okay, um, but that's just my take.
I'll say
Usually I want big Godzilla in my Godzilla book, but whatever.
I'll say this is not for me. I went in not expecting a typical Godzilla book.
Yeah.
So I knew the first issue was gonna be a lot of setup as to where what the fuck's going on.
Uh-huh.
So I was not disappointed in that because that's exactly what we got.
Yeah.
They talk about how they discovered Monster Island. I like that it's kind of a pirate telling the story, so there's like some unreliable narrative going on
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
I think I liked it more than you did. But I do. A part of me does say like Godzilla. It's Godzilla in the title. Godzilla should be in it before the last page. I've made
Yeah.
that criticism before. To stay where I've always been, I will agree with you there. But
Yeah.
I did enjoy the book though. Other than that, I look forward to issue 2.
Okay. I'm probably gonna stick with it for another issue. That being said, more Godzilla, please. But I do like the idea of like, oh, there's these dragons on the islands. I like you said, I like the way they told the story and the interpretation of Godzilla in a different period of time. So that's I am on board for that stuff.
I will say I was worried for a minute that we were going to get one of these stories where like we talk about Godzilla, but you don't see Godzilla.
Oh my
You know,
god.
like
Yeah, that's
I
what I
was
was worried through
worried
the
that's what
whole
the book was
issue.
going to be.
Yeah.
And then when he shows up, I'm like, okay, so when issue 2 comes out, it's gonna be if there's not a whole lot of Godzilla, then somebody's fucking up.
Yeah, somebody messed up
Yeah.
somewhere. Okay, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, #16, Mark Waid, Dan Mora. I love the way Wade handles this book because we get to see Plastic Man and Firestorm in one issue. I love that. Um, also, he uses things like he uses plot devices when he's writing, like quote a brief explanation later unquote instead of like more dialogue between the characters. You know what I mean? I love that
Mm-hmm.
shit. Like that shit makes me very happy. Uh, and then the Doctor tomorrow gets captured during this whole Amazo thing and says it's hopeless. Amazo wasn't dead. He was hiding as Supergirl. So surprise, the villain is still alive. Um, it's still a fun book. I love that Mark Waid took over this series.
I was just checking because I wrote it down as issue 17.
Oh,
Yeah, I love Amazo. Like
yeah,
Amazo's such a cool character.
yeah.
Yeah, the book, everything you said, the book's awesome.
Uh-huh. It's great. Love it. The art's amazing. Mora's art is amazing. Superman 5, Williamson Campbell. Superman saves Silver Banshee and loses his super hearing temporarily. Yeah, it's a cool cover. The two villains say that the two main villains say that Lex Luthor's up to something, but then we see Lex get friggin' shanked in prison at the end of the issue. He gets stabbed, and Superman can't hear him because his super hearing's all messed up. So, yeah, it's an interesting dynamic between like Superman and Lex Luthor's company and Lex Luthor and these two villains like plotting against Lex. So, I think it's a cool story so far.
It was a fun little love story in there too with Jimmy
Yeah,
and Silver
yeah. I
Banshee,
forgot to talk about that. Yep, you're
and
right.
like why Jimmy's defending her and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the book that I'll say the magic word about, and I
Uh
mean it.
huh.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It is
That's
a
all it
fun.
is,
Yeah.
and I love
Like,
it
why
for it.
can't Jimmy Olsen be dating Silver Banshee? Why not?
That's the type of stupid shit Jimmy Olsen should be doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Like,
he's an idiot. Like, come
yeah.
on. Yeah. That should be a book. Stupid shit Jimmy Olsen does.
Stupid shit Jimmy Olsen
He
does.
says to press his watch that Superman's got to come bail him out all the time.
Call me DC.
Saga 65, Staples and Vaughn. All right. We get an actual issue that moves the story forward, Chris. Wow. Imagine that. I did like this issue. The Will gets attacked, and we see that Sophie dies, that girl that he saved so many years ago, right? But I honestly was more worried about Lion Cat dying because Lion Cat gets like,
Yeah.
like strung up, but Lion Cat's alive, everybody. And then we see that the main family, like Hazel and crew, finally get a place to stay, and we'll see how temporary it is. But yeah, there was an interaction with the robot robot boy that like he shouldn't be able to use his powers or something like that. So there's something interesting going on with him.
Completely abandoned the whole let's resurrect our dad thing.
Yeah, they're like, okay, see ya. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you that like it moved the story along
I
and
feel
all
like there's
that.
some arguments going on behind the scenes with the
I
story.
still think something's missing from this book. And actually
Yeah.
somebody was talking to me about it, and what it was to them, and I think it
Uh-huh.
rings true with me, was Saga for the longest time was this book about a family, but it was more importantly a book about forbidden love
Right.
and these two people who are in love trying to make it work in a world that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want them, all that shit.
You're right.
An old story, but one that works.
Yeah.
And now that's gone.
Right.
So the soul of the book for me is gone.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, I mean, listen, it goes from an A plus to a B, still really good,
Yeah.
but it isn't on top of my list anymore. And I was really hoping they were going to resurrect Dad, but it
Yeah.
doesn't look like they are. Maybe they'll swerve back to it next issue. I don't know, but it seems like they went as far away as they could from that person who was going to resurrect them
Mm-hmm.
with no way to turn the ship around. So
Yeah, it was weird how
yeah,
they just like steered away from that.
with no conclusion to it.
No conclusion. Yeah, they're just like,
Like,
all right, yeah, goodbye.
yeah, we'll see. I have faith that they'll conclude that in some way
Mm-hmm.
because, like, we got two great creators here.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah,
My thought is that like, I mean, we've read quite a few comics, Chris, that the delivery or the ending won't be like worth all that, like whatever is happening in between. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but
And it's hard to keep a book up to that caliber for 60, 70 issues.
yeah, I mean, come on.
So I'm not trying to shit on them. It's just for me, there's something missing, and it's not hitting the heights that it used to. And I hope that one day they can get back to it. For
Yep.
me, I know others disagree and still think it's phenomenal, but that's where I'm standing on the book.
Rogue Sun number 13, Perot and Abel. This is an interesting issue dealing with the astral form. The main character is while the older guy takes over his body. There's an interesting like interaction with all the villains that are in like a rehab talking about the larger villain coming that they're all like connected to. That was a cool scene. Then we see Demonica, who was a villain, come back from the dead. Um, and we see this interaction between the main character and the guy who is controlling his body. Of like he's trying to, if they have to fight a villain, he's like working with the villain to try to get his body back. And we see him get cast away from the normal world to like an astral world where we find that that's where his dad had been cast when he was in the suit with him of armor. So now they're just like chilling in like this astral plane, like heavenish universe. So that's a pretty cool story. I do like this book. We also see the repercussions of a kid in high school dying because they're like, the whole issue's about that. Like, oh, this kid died during the school dance. Like, yeah, this sucks. Like,
Yeah, I would say that sucks.
yeah, they didn't really like move. They didn't move on. Like nothing happened. So that was cool. Guardians of the Galaxy #3, Lanzig, Kelly, and Walker on the art. I thought it was a great issue. There it is. Peter and Drax go on the hunt with the Spartax, and they get to speak to the planet Groot. The Spartax kill it, and then he kills them. We get to see Peter Quill being ruthless again. Get a little further insight into what Grootfall is, maybe, but I thought this was a good issue.
Yeah, I really like the issue. Art's phenomenal. I liked the Peter and Groot kind of interacting, having that moment before something happens to Groot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm loving this book.
Yeah, they're doing a great job as always. That's all I got to this week, though.
So I got a bunch, so I'm going to try to shoot through the bunch of them and then get to the ones I really want to talk about. But Mighty Barbarians #3 is still really good. Michael Moresi doing barbarian stuff. Just a good time. Batman the White Knight presents Generation Joker #2.
Nice.
Really good. It's Joker trying to make it up to his kids, like, and then not the ventriloquist, oh my god, Scarface shows up, but it's the guy who controls Scarface's daughter, and she has control of Scarface now, and they're gonna hunt Joker and his kids down. So good times.
Okay.
Avengers #2, we finally get into the story. We meet up with Kang, this future Kang that was beaten up during oh my god, Timeless. And he kind of gives the backstory of what happened during Timeless and to Carol Danvers. And through that, he gives these events that are like, these will happen and you can save people. And it was his way of being like, I'm not fucking with you. Like, me, I'm Kang. I don't care about people. So if I'm telling you that these things will help people, I'm not lying to you. And so the whole issue is them doing that. And I love that the last one is Sam Wilson meets up with this trucker who's supposed to give these supplies to a hospital. And it's the old trucker story, takes the pills to try to stay awake and all this. And what's supposed to happen is he's supposed to get into a crash, kill a bunch of people on the highway, and then the people at the hospital also die because they don't get their medicine.
Yeah.
But Sam stops him, and the guy's like, but we need to get this medicine. Sam goes, then get in the passenger seat and start sleeping. And he goes, do you know how to drive a stick? He's like, how do you think I got through college, man? And it's an old Sam Wilson thing where like Sam used to drive a semi before he met up with Cap. So I love that part of the book. So
nice.
A lot of fun.
Awesome.
I Hate Fairyland #6 was really good. It seems like the Council of Fairyland has decided they're going to go through the multiverse to find different Gretas to fight Greta Prime.
Nice.
So, that old story.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I Hate Fairyland.
It's awesome.
Captain America 14, Symbol of Truth #14. It's the last issue of this. It was an okay issue. It was like Sam Wilson's day off kind of thing, and how he can never stop being Cap and all that. But yeah, it wasn't anything to write home about. Daredevil and Echo #2 was not a good issue, not great, but I like where they're going, fighting this demon that connects to both their pasts. Action Comics #1056. It's really stupid to say that number.
I know.
So the first story with Cyborg Superman, kind of comes to a conclusion where they defeat Cyborg Superman. Spoilers. And
What?
his whole plan, and then the oh my god, yeah, and then they save the what's his name's daughter. I'm zoning on fucking names right now, and realize that she was under mind control or whatever, so they're trying to help her. And then we get a thing for the next story arc that doesn't start till September, because next 2 months
Night
all
Terrors.
DC comics are canceled and they're doing Night Terrors,
Mm-hmm.
which is great for my wallet. But
Yeah.
there's a new organization called Blue Earth that's anti-alien. I don't think it's new, actually. It's been around for a minute in the comics.
Yeah.
But they're showing it as something new, and they're going to try to take care of Superman.
Uh-oh.
And then the second story was that Dan Jurgens Superman story taking place in the past, where Superman's go to this other planet to save his kid. And it was kind of cool because they have his kid in a lead casing, and the only way he can hope to contact his father is to just like beat at the lead in a rhythm and hope that he can hear it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a unique way of doing it, because Superman can't see or hear through lead.
Right. That's interesting.
And then my last, well, actually, one I read a few weeks back I didn't talk about, but Nostalgia Number One. It's a comicsology book. Highly recommend it. It's like Blade Runner, but with if Blade Runner was talking about the music industry. So it's this guy who's like a music legend in this futuristic thing, and how he's like constantly being told he needs to make more music and everything, but he doesn't have his muse or whatever.
Yeah.
And it gets a little bit deeper than that, and what he does, but I really loved it, and I look forward to the next issue of that. Last two, Mike. Vanish number 8.
Oh yeah, I gotta read that.
Even though this is the last issue of Vanish, it is not the last issue of Vanish. Let me tell you that.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So we get kind of the final fight and everything, and it wraps up everything for this first arc, volume, whatever you want to call it. But the ending does set up a future story that I'm interested in. There's an epilogue that involves our main character and his ex-wife, whatever she is now, and the kid. So I hope they come back to it. I'll say, all in all, these 8 issues of Vanish are really fucking good. And
yeah, it was a good story.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed it. So I do hope he comes back to it, the team comes back to it, because Stegman, the only problem I have with this issue is Stegman only does pencils for 3 pages.
Oh boy.
They got another artist do the rest, and it's not a huge difference. Like, I think if I didn't tell you that, you wouldn't really notice. But I hope that the two come back together to do future volumes.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And the one I've been wanting to talk about for 2 weeks now, Ultimate Invasion number 1.
There you go.
I fucking love this book.
Nice. That's awesome.
So, first of all, I want to point this out. This made me laugh.
What the hell?
Because there's a black hole in the story.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing.
And it looks like Radiant Black to all the listeners out there.
Yeah, it does.
So, the Maker is being imprisoned in this secret facility, and he finds a way to escape by hiring this crew. And his whole plan is that nobody's going to know that he's escaped. So he hires them all in a specific way, has them bring this machine to him. And when they break him out, he takes all of their bodies and morphs it in this like really body horror looking way, but morphs it so it looks like he's still sitting there while he just walks out the door.
Interesting.
And then from there, it's basically Jonathan Hickman's greatest hits, because we get the Illuminati, we get Fantastic Four, we get X-Men, we get the Avengers, and the Maker is stealing things from all these different entities and more to create something. And the Illuminati is trying to figure it out. They can't figure it out until it's too late. And that's when they find he's built this big machine that's going to hop universes. And I think time. And I say that, I'll get to that later, but I'm pretty sure it also did time, even though it didn't say so explicitly in the story. And The Maker has a confrontation with Reed Richards, which is really good, and kind of disappears in this portal. And that's kind of where the book ends, but then there's an epilogue to it
Mm-hmm.
that takes place on Earth 6160, the Ultimate Universe. And this epilogue story is the origin story for Spider-Man, where Spider-Man goes to the place, the radioactive spider gets down, bites him. But before the spider bites him, somebody comes and kills the spider.
Oh,
And then we turn around and it's the Maker.
nice. So he's killing the origins.
Yeah, and he gives this big speech about how it would be unreasonable for him to not do it, because with great power comes great responsibility. Mike.
Oh boy, there it is. That's awesome.
It was everything I wanted. It was really great. If you're an Ultimates fan, if you've been reading Hickman as long as I have, it's a necessary read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just phenomenal.
That's awesome.
So, Mike, that's everything I had to read this week and last week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter and most other social media networks. Also, you can find the show at Fortress Comics _ on Twitter and FortressComicNews.com. Remember, everybody, to give us a 5-star review and podcatcher your choice. To like, subscribe, share, comment down below in the YouTube version. And you can always visit Patreon at patreon.com/FortressComics. Thank you all so much for watching and or listening this week. And we'll see y'all here next week.